Hey friends, welcome back to the show. And it is just me today. I am doing a solo show because I thought this would be great timing to get back to the basics. So I'm going to share with you 6 steps on how to grow your Instagram account in 2022. I can't believe that 2022 is over. It's not over. 2021 is almost over, but 2022 is about to begin. And I know that we're all in that time right now that we're thinking of not only our end year goals, but our goals for 2022. And most of us are always thinking about our social media platforms and how to grow a bigger audience and how to get the sales and what strategies are we going to use in the online space. So today, I'm going to share with you some really basic 6 steps to growing your Instagram account. And it's not what you think. I'm not going to come on here and say, well, you need to do ABC this many times and you're going to get XYZ. No, you know that's not what I'm about. I'm all about approaching Instagram with simplicity and control. I want you to feel in control of the platform. I don't want you to feel that Instagram is sucking your soul and you're spending way too much time on it and all the features are confusing you and you don't know why you're not getting engagement, or maybe, you're frustrated because your reels are not getting the reach that you wanted. So let's go back to the 6 steps. And this is really a bigger picture to Instagram growth. It's not about one particular strategy or one feature that is going to make you go viral and then poof, you're going to be Instagram famous and you're going to get all the sales. It's not what it's about. So let's start with the basics. Some of the stuff you've probably heard me say before, but maybe you haven't heard me say it all together. And I think putting these 6 steps together is just going to help you look at Instagram in a new way. And then you're going to be geared up for 2022 and make Instagram what you want it to do. Use the platform the way you want to use it for your brand and your business. All right, so here is step number 1, and you're going to see how I'm going to break these up into like 2 different sections. Step number 1 is you need to go back at the drawing board and get clarity on your brand. Like, why are you on Instagram in the first place? If you don't really understand your own brand and your people and why you're there, then you're going to have a really hard time growing on Instagram. So get the clarity for your brand. And when I say clarity, who are you meant to serve? Who's like the one person that you want to work with, right? And then you want to really hone in on your mission statement or your I help statement or your brand message. Who are you helping? What are their main pain points or their problems? And what is your solution? How are you going to help your audience on Instagram? And then, of course, you really want to nail down the 5 essential elements to your personal brand. That's your story and your values. It is nailing down your audience. It's nailing down your brand message, your brand voice, and your brand visuals. Now, if you need help with the 5 elements to your brand, I do have a freebie that you can download. Maybe be a good idea to reassess your brand before you go into the new year, because you need absolute clarity on what you stand for and who you're serving before you can start showing up on Instagram. Now, the second step that you want to maybe reevaluate or revisit before you go into the new year is your content. What kind of content are you going to start creating for Instagram? And when sometimes a lot of mompreneurs can struggle with creating content for Instagram. So I want you to think about this question. What do you want to be known for? When someone is interacting with your Instagram stories or your news feed, or they're watching your reels, what do you want to be known for? What do you want your audience to remember or think about when they are interacting with your content? And you also want to be thinking about your brand or your content pillars, because creating content pillars for Instagram really serves as the fundamental content for what you're going to be putting out there in the online space. So here's a great example of pillars. I created content pillars for myself. I think it's a really great idea to have a minimum of 2 to 3 pillars. I would say max 5. We don't want to have too many pillars for our content, because then we're talking about too much stuff on Instagram and we can actually start confusing our audience. So here's an example. These are like my main content pillars for when I'm creating content for Instagram. My first pillar is personal branding. I will talk about personal branding on Instagram. Secondly is content creation and planning. That's what I like to talk about. Then I will talk about Instagram marketing and growth. And then finally, business motivation. Those are like the 4 overarching or brand or content pillars, whatever names you want to give it. That is like the core fundamental content that I create for Instagram. So you have to really define for yourself what is going to be your content for Instagram. Define your pillars. And then the next step, number 3, is consistency. Yes, I know this can be a triggering word, but what is going to be your pattern for showing up on Instagram? And here's the great news. Consistency is how you define it. Don't let anyone tell you that you must do ABC this many times to get the results of XYZ. No. You get to create your own consistency pattern, and your audience will learn that over time. And when you're creating a consistency pattern, I also want you to be thinking to yourself, well, what is sustainable? What can I do over and over? How can I show up over and over for my audience that is not only consistent, but it's also sustainable, right? We're all busy. We all have kids. We all are running a household. Maybe you are working a side business outside of the house, or maybe you're even working a full-time job and you're running a business and you're running a household. So don't compare yourself to the other Instagram experts that are posting 2 to 3 times a day, 7 days a week, because most likely that is their full-time job and they might even have a team. So don't compare yourself to their consistency patterns. Do what's right for you, do what's sustainable. And if you do that from the get-go in 2022, you will have growth. You will see growth grow over time. And that is what it's all about. All right, so we've gone through clarity and content and consistency. This might sound familiar to you. Yes, this is what I refer to as my 3 C's to Instagram growth. Now let's go into the second part. This is step number 4. So now that you're creating your content for Instagram, you need to have variety. You need to mix up your content so that way you don't become stale online, right? You don't want to be, come too predictable online, because people will actually stop listening to you, stop watching what you're putting out there, and actually stop following you. So here's some ideas of how you can put some variety in your content. So let's talk about your news feed, your post. You don't want to keep posting the same type of image or content over and over. You want to be mixing in some quotes, some memes, some carousels. Carousels are still like the go-to type of static content. You also want to put a variety of photos, including you. Mix in the reels in your newsfeed, mix in the IGTV, and then of course some infographics and some audio clips, okay? That is how you are going to mix up or put variety in your content. You also want to do variety when you're in your Instagram stories. Don't be doing the same thing day after day after day. Look at the week. Are you incorporating some boomerangs? Are you using the GIFs or the music or the polls or the other awesome stickers that Instagram has released, like the link sticker? But don't overuse that one too much, because then you're going to become salesy and spammy. So use the link sticker. I would say maybe like twice a week. I would not overuse it. You also want to share other people's posts and make sure you're tagging them. So have a variety in your stories. And then you think of this too. You also want to have a variety in your calls to action. How are you getting the engagement in your post? Are you asking the same question all the time? Are you constantly putting link in bio? That becomes very stale over time. So mix up your calls to action, ask for the tag, or ask a very in-depth question, or give a this or that. So get creative with your calls to action. You want to be putting, or you want to be using a variety of calls to action in your post and even in your Instagram stories. All right, so that's variety. Number 5, here we go. This is going to be a trigger for some of you, but hands down, this is going to be the number 1 way to get noticed in 2022, and that's video. Now, don't freak out. I'm not saying that you need to be doing video every single day on Instagram. No, take it at your own pace. Start with something that you can start getting used to doing, and go back to what I said about consistency. What is sustainable for you? So maybe for you, it's starting in your Instagram stories twice a week, showing your face and utilizing a little bit of video. Get consistent in your Instagram stories. Start there. Perfect. Then maybe you want to try and do a live. I know I said live, but it's okay. You're not going to die. Maybe you want to do a live once a month. And then you're going to utilize that live and you're going to repurpose it as an IGTV a week later. Like, now you have variety in your content by utilizing video. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? Start small, take small action steps to use video, and then build onto it as you go in 2022. But you have to start using video. I keep hearing that people want to grow. You want the Instagram growth, but you don't want to do video. It's not going to work. Okay. You have to utilize video, but start small. Do it in your Instagram stories and then work up to Reels. I know Reels is another trigger word, but I promise you, you won't die if you're going to do Reels. All right. So that was number 5. That was video. Number 6, don't forget this. This is equally important to all the other ones. Value. Make sure that you are sharing value in your post or in your content, whatever you're putting out there on Instagram and just in the online space. Make sure you are thinking about your audience. How are you helping them? How are you overcoming their frustrations, their pain points? How are you making an impact on the world? Make sure that you are sharing valuable content. That hands down is going to make you memorable on Instagram and recognizable because of the value that you are putting out there in the world. All right, so let's review real quick the 6 steps to Instagram growth and success in 2022, in my opinion. Number 1 is get clarity on your brand. Why are you on Instagram in the first place? Number 2, start creating your content and come up with the content pillars. That is going to serve as your foundation to start strong in 2022. Number 3, consistency. What is going to be your consistent pattern for 2022? How are you going to show up for your audience? Number 4 is variety. How are you going to mix it up in 2022 and show up differently for your audience so they keep coming back to you? Number 5, right? Yeah, I'm on number 5. Number 5 is video. Yes, you're going to have to start using video in the next year if you want to become recognizable, get the visibility and get the growth. And then finally, don't forget value. Never leave that off the table. And I could almost lead with value when it comes to the steps of Instagram growth, but I just really prefer to lead with clarity and then end with value. All right, that's it. Those are the 6 steps. I hope you are on the road to success for Instagram. I know you are, and you know that you can always reach out to me if you have questions about these 6 steps. I'll see you next time.